Welcome back everyone. So this is our page object. So we finished our hooks, so now is page object. So for the page object, we need to do the same thing. Right click on our page object and start creating our page object. This is very important. It's going to take a bit of a time, so I'll try to be a bit fast. So you go into our page object and page object, so new. So we go into our page object. So because our page object is not a Specflow class or feature, as you can see, there's no page object here. So it's going to be a class basically. So it's a code that we need to write. So you click on the code and it's going to be a class. So we can say, what's the page object? So which page are we writing code for? So let me go to the Chrome. So we are writing so it's going to be the form basically. So this form, so this is the form that we are going to be writing the blue sky. So we can say, so because it's a code, it has to end with CS. So I would, if you don't put the CS, it's going to be fine. But it's a good practice to this dot here. So automation testing page. So let me say automation testing form page. So then I would press enter. So my page object is stored in my page object form, in my page object folder, and it's called this basically. So and what's this one? Okay. So now that is the page object that we've done. So and we've call it a different name and we've added it. So we already got something like this. So yeah, so and what I kind of propose right now is this is what I did last time. It's a method like this. So but we're going to have a little twist to it basically. So and we're going to have it with our page of constructor. So let us quickly go through that. So the first thing is for us to have a constructor created. Access this constructor will have like a public, the name of the class, and open a post bracket, and this is it. So your constructor is the only method that's called the name of the class, and it doesn't have any return type. It's going to be public, that basically that's it. And then we are going to initialize our WebDriver because we are going to be using it. So we can have WebDriver created. So we also going to be adding the using open with Selenium. And now we need to bring in the hooks driver in there. So we need to now assign our new driver to the driver that we've already started instantiated in our hook, which is called hook.driver. So since this is coming from the hook, so we need to bring the using hooks in. Okay. So what is it talking about? It's not accessible due to protector type. So let's go to our hook and see what is the problem with that driver. Okay, because now this is kind of, so this is kind of private, so we're going to make it static basically, so for us to be able to use it. So because otherwise we are not going to be able to use it if it's not static like that. So it's very important for us to do that. So and it has to be public also, public and static. So otherwise you get that issue. So now we are okay with this basically. So and that's what you need to see. So let's save that. Now we are okay. So and the next step now is for us to start doing our page objects actually. So let's go to the step, or before then let's try to build it. And then run it. Okay, cool. So that is fine, and it opens and closed. So now let's go to the form basically. Now if you navigate to the form, the first thing that we want to do is we want to have a method that goes to this particular form basically. So that's the first thing we want to be able to go there. So we're going to create a method that does that for us basically. So okay, well, so on the page objects, on the page objects we're going to put some step in there. So we're going to say public. So void, we are not returning anything. So then we want to say navigate to let's say this particular form, this particular method is going to navigate to form. So to navigate to this particular form, what we need to do is say driver dot navigate open dot go to URL. Where do you want to go to? You want to go to the location. Okay, so that is the location that we want to go to. So now this particular form, we already have it here. It's our page object. So if you want to call this particular form, is basically this particular method is basically the name of the parent and its name basically. This is like in layman term, the surname and the first name. Surname, automation testing form dot navigation to form. That's how to call it basically. So we're going to do the same thing. So but we are not going to be right now, it's not doing anything. We need to call it. We need to say come and do this for us. But we know that that can only happen in our step, because our step is the one that is doing every work. So we go to the step. Let's go to our feature. This particular step is the one that should do the navigation. We go to that form, to that step, and this is the step basically. So in here we want to now call that particular method that we've done. So for us to do that, we need to instantiate that method first. The method that we are talking about is our page object. This particular page object, we need to instantiate the page object. This page object, we will call it in our step, this class. And there are two ways to also do that also. You can also create a class, create an instance of this particular class. So we can create, a constructor. So let's try to create a constructor also. Say public. So oh no. So public. Okay. So that is a constructor. So in this constructor, we are going to initialize our page object for us to be able to use the page object. So this is the class, so that we can call that particular method. So we put our class here. So, and this is the class itself. So, but we want to call this class a different name. We want to call this class a different name, so that it's going to be different from the class itself. So we choose a name. We can choose a name, but we can say, okay, we want to choose a name that will be easy for us to understand that is the class itself. So we now say, okay, let's use the same name with a lowercase instead of a capital case, so that we can be able to differentiate that this is a class and this is an instance of that class. So we want to call this class, but this instance of a class now, we want to instantiate this class, and then say okay. So what we just done is basically that anytime we call this particular new instance of the class, we can get all the method in this class inside it, basically. But now it's showing red because this particular class is not visible in this class. For it to be visible to this class, we need to use the using, basically. And the IntelliSense is very good. It's going to underline it for you, and if you just put your mouse and you can see some options using blue sky project 2 page object. By this time you should already know that that is what we're going to be using. So, and that is done. So now anytime in this particular method now, or in this class now, we can start using this particular instance of the class. So if we go into our navigate step, this one, and we can say automation form with the lowercase. Where's that? Okay, sorry, I think I got this wrong actually. So this should be outside, because otherwise you're not going to see it. So, otherwise we are not going to actually see it. So because it's not visible, so that's where we now. So if I say automation now, I can see it. Basically, initially it's not there. So I can now see it now, because if you don't put it outside and it's inside the constructor, it is not visible to other methods, basically, because you only declare it inside in the constructor. You have to declare it outside so that other method can be able to see it, or you can instantiate it inside the constructor. That's how you're going to do it, use it. So we've already got it now. So then we can say dot, and you can see navigate is already there, navigate to form, and we can open up close. So that is going to do the navigation for us. Let's try to run it now and see. Let's put the breakpoint here so that it's going to stop at this point, and put it debug. So, and it stops here. So now let's see, this is the form. So it's not done anything. So now let's put on 12, F11 rather. F11 takes us to the method itself, and that is where the navigation is. So if you now press F10, so, and you can see now it would do the navigation, and you see that's it, and we are good to go, and that's it. So I can continue, so that just close the it will close that particular form. form, and then so let's click on continue, and that's it done. So okay, now after opening the form, what do we need to do? We need to type something inside. So we need to type something inside this. So the next step that we need to do, go to our page objects. Our page objects, now we need to be able to type something into this particular form, into this particular text field. So we inspect the text field. We look at what are the different ways to actually communicate with that particular element. So when you look at this element now, that I've told you different ways to do it. You can click on this and you can put your mouse on it. It's going to highlight it for you. And once you also highlight it, put your mouse on it, it's going to highlight it. If you go up, it's going to highlight the different ones, and that's it. But this is one that we are looking for. So what we need to do now is to look at different tags in that particular element. So it's got a type of text. We don't need that. It's got a class. We can use the class if we need to. So we can use the ID if you want to. We can use the name if we need to. So I think because I'll show you now. So what we are looking for is how to identify that particular element. So let's call the element single line text, and let's go to our page objects and say we need a page object. So so what I've already proposed, alright, to make life easy for people, is you will have your, after you have your driver, you start your iWeb elements from there. iWeb elements and space, and what is the element that we want to call? You call it a name, and that name should not have space in between. So for instance, if I paste the name that I have, so let's say this is the name, it says single line text. I can call it single line text. So let's call it that. So but it has to be together, single, but because it's a variable, it has to start with a lowercase, single. But if you start with uppercase, it's not going to make any difference anyway. But as a good practice, you start your variables with a single case. Your method will start with uppercase, so you need to know that. Your variable lowercase, your method uppercase. That's why you see your classes uppercase. That's why all these are different methods. You can see them, and it's also in typecase. So when you say navigate, that's one word. When you are combining them with two words, so the first letter of the word has to start with uppercase. So bear that in mind. So that, for instance, now I'm going to say my single line text based on what is there, line text. So my first, because it's a variable, is single case, but my line now is going to be uppercase, and text is going to be uppercase. It is going to be uppercase. So just bear that in mind when you are doing your nomenclature, so you know that the variable or element is in lowercase. You start with the lowercase, or if you are combining two words or many words, so the next word, the next letter that start the word will be on the uppercase, and you go like that. So this is the variable name that I'm going to use for my line text. So then what exactly is that? So I'll now call my driver. So what is my driver? Driver dot find elements. So how am I going to use it? I'm going to find it by ID for a start, which is the easier approach. So then open and close brackets. So and open and close quote. So and end of quote. So now my ID, what is my ID code? So I go into here, and that's the name of the ID. I copy that and I can paste it here inside my quote. So there's something wrong here. So let's see what our problem is. Oh, sorry. There's a typo here because this is find elements. Find element is used to find collections more than one element. So bear that in mind. We're going to use this later anyway. So it's going to be one without the elements. So that's why it's showing the error. So no, now it's showing like gray because we've not actually used that variable. So now when you've done that, the next one is to use that variable. What do you want to do to this particular element? What do you want to use this element? We want to enter. So you create your method. Your method is not going to return anything, it's going to be void. So what's the name of the method? And I told you your method should start with a capital letter. So let's say enter single line text. Open and close. So that's it. So then what do we want to do? We want to type something into this element. So we go to the single line text. So this is one dot send keys. To type, you use send keys basically. That means you want to type that. So open and close bracket. So what do you want to type inside? You put open quotes and you type what you want to do. So let's say I want to type my name inside. Let's say type my name JG, and that is it. So now it's going to type my name. So if I put a breakpoint here and let's try to run this step quickly. Apologies, time is fast spent, so I just want to finish this to be honest. So all that is fine. So that opens the form. Okay, alright. So now, as you can see, it just goes in, it goes out because we didn't actually put anything in our step. So it's not going to do anything, even though we've created the, we've created the page object, but we need to now put our page object into our step. Now I think you should now understand, okay, because if you just go now, you just go in, because we didn't actually link it to our step, so it's not going to do anything. So let's not do that. We go into the step, enter line text. So we go into the step, there's nothing there yet. So we just call our, because we've done the heavy lifting now, we've done this, we don't need to do that again. So what we just need to do is to go to that place and go to enter text, and yeah, that is that. So we just call the page object automation, so with the lowercase anyway, because it's the instance that we need to. So we just enter and that's it. So from here, you just go in there and let's stop this one and then run it. So let's continue. I'm going to remove this particular breakpoint. We don't need it here again, so we need it in the next step. So we need it here. So this particular one, so F10. So now we expect it to type the G into it. So that's good. That's fine. It's done that. So that's okay. So let's continue. So the next one now, which is going to be a bit kind of difficult-ish is the select basically. So okay, let's continue the action of this one also. So we also going to do the same thing for our select. So we're going to go into the form. We need to select one. We need to select this. So we need to click and select. So we are going to inspect the elements. So and we go and inspect this one, and that is this basically where is the ID. So we're going to use okay, we can use the ID also at this point. So but let's try to use the XPath in this point. So we just try to use different methods. So and to use the XPath, so you can use different methods that you so wish actually, but depending on what, if it's got ID, to be honest, that's the best thing to use, to be honest. So for the purpose of the training, we're going to use different methods, because you might find yourself in a situation where there's no ID. You need to use the XPath, so you need to know how to use it. So to use the XPath, you just right click and then copy XPath, or you could copy full. Let's say copy XPath. So we don't need to copy the full XPath because we want to do the relative as much as possible. So we need to go to our page object. So now, so like I also proposed, once you have your web element, the first one, you want to create the next one on at the bottom of it basically. So that's what it was, web element. So which is, what's the name of this one? So select. So let's say let's call it select 1, 2, 3. Let's say that's the name we want to call it. So then what's going to be find driver dot find element. So and don't make the same mistake I did before by selecting the find element with S. So it's not going to be good. We're going to use the XPath. So open close and paste sign. So this you need to be careful. It's very, very important. So and once I copy that one, so if I paste it here, so it's got a code inside, and because I am also putting a code outside this, you need to be careful. So because otherwise there will be issues. So if you do something like this, so this is what C# is going to look at, is that you have a code here and you finished it here, and you started another one and you finish it there. So this one is kind of like an orphan, doesn't know what you should do with that. So that is going to create an issue. But because this is what you want to do, you want to make sure that this code comprises, that I saying when you have a bubble speech, and inside the bubble speech you have another speech inside. So how do you make sure that your message is not wrongly interpreted basically? So what you need to do, there are two ways to actually solve this. So what you can do is, first thing, when you copy what you copied, so you can paste it in the notepad first, like this. Once you paste it in the notepad, you put your code. You're going to put it inside. Okay, you can put your code like that also, like that. Bear in mind, the inner one, you can replace it with a small quote. As you can see, that is easy to understand now. This one is for the inner one, and this one is for the outside one. So that's the easiest approach to do. So you now copy that, and then you can use that to replace undo this one, and use this to replace these two quotes. So you are okay with this, and you can place it on there. So for people that are experts, to be honest, so if you are experts and you have something like that, so you don't get confused, to be honest. If you're expert, just put // maybe you've seen this. So basically that is showing that my slash, this one is now quote. Basically it's just telling you it's not a start of another quote. I'm going to just concatenate with a quote, basically. So then that's what it means. So but to make it easy, just don't worry about that. Put a small quote, a one not double quote, a one quote, so that it can be differentiated between the one outside and the one inside. That will solve your issue. So once that is done, the next step, as you can see, I'm actually doing step by step. So you can see the first one that we did the web element. Then we did our method. So we did the second web element, and that's lowercase, right? So we did our second one. So now we're going to do the method. So let's say we say select public void select. So let's say select one from, so I just want to call it different name from select 1, 2, so we want to select one from that. So and this is now what you just need to do first is we've got our page object. So now we need to select that particular element that we want to do, so which is a MultiSelect. So basically, so what you need to do is, this is a bit different and you just need to know how to do this. So for you to do this, you need to say select element. This is how to select element. Basically it's different from the other way that we've done before. Select element is equal to new select element. So then what you now need to pass as argument is that particular element that we've identified. We put that in the argument and then semicolon. So but this is showing this for you, so we're going to use our normal way using run support UI. So then that one will select that element for us, but now because one is going to select this element for us, but we want to select one from the elements. So the first one you select this element, is going to be selected. Now after that you need to click on one. So for you to do that, you need to call this select basically from here and say select dot. So how do you want to select that element? For instance, if you look into this one now, if you look into this, if you go down, drill down on that, you will see there's value. So it's got options. So this is when you're going to be using options. Anyone that have options, that's what you can use. It's got options 1, that's the value, and it's got option value 2. So that is one. You can select by value and you can select by the text. Also, I think you can also select by the ID. So but let's, because we are sure it's got value 1, value 2, value 3. So we're interested in selecting the number 1. So we just select by value. So if you say select dot, you can see it's got the select. So if you scroll down, you will see select by index, select by text, select by value. So we're going to be using select by value. So, and what are we selecting? So you open brackets. So we're going to select one. So it has to be the same way it is written. Otherwise, it's not selected. So it has to be, if it's capital letter, it has to be capital letter. So you need to bear that in mind. So we'll put that in there. And so that would select one for us. So if you want to select 3, you just do the same thing also. You put 3 in the options instead of 1. So this will select this for us. So as we know now, the next one is for us to go into our step. The step that we are using to select the text. So we go into this step and we call the automation test, page of text, and we can call the method select from that, and that's some magic for us, and that's it. So the next one, which is going to be the last thing I'm going to do, so I'm going to, there's no difference between the email and the one that we've done, so I won't do that. So also the same way is the same thing. The MultiSelect is similar to that one. I'm going to do that quickly so that you can see how to do MultiSelect. Basically it's similar anyway. So what I'm going to do, let's say we go into insert our elements to do the MultiSelect. So what I'm going to do is I want to select this, I want to select this basically. So after I've selected this, I want to also select this. So you can only do that by clicking on the shift basically. So that is how to do that. So I would so let's quickly go into the, so for this one also, let's inspect this element. So to be sure we are selecting the right one. So this is the right one. It has to be the O lot. So this is, it's got the ID 139. So in this one now, let's try to use CSS. So we try to use CSS, copy CSS selector. That's how to do the CSS from here. Copy CSS selector, and let's go to our page object. So where's the page object? So let's go to our page object. So like I said, so I'm going to put the next one above this and below this one web element. So now MultiSelect, what are we selecting? Let's do 1, 2, 3. So the find element. So we said we will use CSS selector. So the same way also, bear in mind, we want to be sure that there's no code also in that. So there's no code, so that's fine. So we're going to put that into that. So that is our selector. So the next one that we know is our public void, our method to call. So we want to say MultiSelect, so maybe that's what we're going to call it. So open and close brackets. So we want to now select that particular one. So if you look into that, that also is got options. So we need to select different ones. So we need to do the same thing that we've done here. Basically, it's going to be almost the same thing. So you can, it's okay, select element. So now, because you're already there before, you can say, let's say, vector is MultiSelect. So this is this is the one that we want to select, MultiSelect. So 1, 2, 3. So okay. Then MultiSelector dot select by value. So let's go by value. Oh, as well, also we can go by the text, which is this basically. If you are going to go by the text, we use what is inside. So if it's value, what's in, so by text. So open. So but bear in mind, you need to be sure what we are selecting. So that's the first one. We want to select 2, and also we want to select 3. Let's see if that works. So then that should select 3. So, and that is the one, because it's going to select 1 and 2. So the next step now is for us to, this is easy basically. So you would, the same thing also, this is the select, this one is similar to this. You just need to select what you want to use it, find select and inspect. When you inspect, you can see, if you go into that, you see there are different options. So if you are going to go with value, you go with what is inside. If you are going to go with text, you go with the full name basically. For instance, if you want to select United Kingdom, so you go to where United Kingdom is, and you have United okay, yeah. So if you're going to go with the value, the value will be GB. If you want to go by select by text, it's going to be United Kingdom. So that's how to do that one country. So that's going to be assignment for you guys. So, and then for the radio, that is easy. You just need to click on the one that you want. So for instance, if you want to go with this one, let's say, okay, so you just need to say what exactly that is. And it's go inspect and copy. Let's say we use, it's called an ID also. So as you can see, each one of them will have their own ID. So this is the one input, and the other one is called is on input 13. So that one is called 130, 1380, 1381. So it's got different IDs. So you just need to click on it basically, and that's it. So let's say we copy the one, we copy the ID for this one. So for the radio button, it's easy. You just need to click on it. It's not big of an issue, to be honest. So okay, another thing that we didn't actually add is browse. So because you know when you want to browse to upload picture or something like that, so we will try to add them also, so that you can be able to automate any browse page, any form that's called the upload control. So let's say now is select video. It's equal to delegated to server dot find elements. So we want to say by dot id. Sorry, I just need to catch up with where we should be, so that I'm actually rushing to finish this today. So that's the ID, and that's it. Then the next one is public void, and then let's say select. What do we want to select? We want to select, let's say we want to select 2. Yeah. And then what do? We call this select radio. So that's what we want to. Oh, sorry, because it's not select two, because we are selecting the first one, because that's the ID that we put in there. Select row, actually, so select radio dot click, because this is also just going to click it. So that's it. So then what we need to do now? Oh, we didn't actually complete the other one, so we didn't do the step definition, so we need to go and do the step definition for these two, basically just calling this method from the step definition. So we need to go MultiSelect equal now. So that's easy one. So automation with our lowercase instance that we have MultiSelector. So that is select. Then the next one is the radio list. So automation dot radio, select radio. So that's that. So and that one should bring that. So and for the date is similar also. What you just need to first do, you click you select the element. As you can see, it's got. So if you look into that one, so it's got this one. So let's say if you look into that, it's not the right one, this is the right one. So if you go copy CSS for that. So another thing to cross check your CSS, once you copy it, you can say F onto F. So that should bring this fine string and something and export. So if you do that, you can paste what you copy. So that will highlight what you just copied. So as you can see, that is the CSS selector for the date. So, and you can as well remove one after the other. So it's got one of one. So for instance, if I remove this one after the greater than. So as you can see, it's still bringing one and one for me. So that means I can still use that. So even though I've removed some part of it, if I remove that, that is still showing one of one. So which is still okay for me. That's how to make sure your code is shortened, as you can see. So I'll remove that. So and the next one is what I'm looking for. Is also the okay. I can't do anything to this because all this one are one basically. So input between display, so that's fine. So I can use this as CSS. So if I go in there, apologies, the time is fast spent, so we just need to rush and finish this so that we don't need to do that next week basically. So the next one also web element. So we want to do our date. Let's say let's say date. The text later just find element by dot. So we kind of copy the SPA CSS file, sorry. So paste. So that's our CSS for that one. So let's close that. So the next one is corporate. So we want to click on the date. So because that's the first thing we need to do, is not even selecting now. We want to click on the date because the action that you need to do is first you click on this one before you can actually click on this. So that's the first action. So or you can put them together in our method. Let's say we say select dates from calendar. Okay, Okay, so the first thing we want to click this one first. So we say date from calendar dot click. So that should click dot click. So that should click the date for you. Okay. So that should click the calendar for you. After we click the calendar, this is displayed. Then we will, let's say we want to select 12 basically. So hold on. So we need to get a way to, yeah, this is now going to be a bit difficult. So hold on. Okay, so one is okay. We're going to we're going to use a different method anyway, so that's fine. So I think we cannot able to inspect that. We'll look into this later. So we're going to okay, what will happen, we're going to leave this to next week. But another way to do it is just to send a text. I think that should be fine instead of, so because you can actually type something inside this. Let's say that, so that should be fine. So we can do something like that. So I'm pressing enter. So we can do that. So let's quickly do that. So we're going to, so instead of click on that calendar, we'll send text dot send keys. So we'll just do that. So that should send the text. So and then we will go. So we said we want to do the of the month. So basically that might not be possible for now, but we will look into that in the future. I'm not sure, because you can also write some code to get the date for the current month and select the 12, and then after that you can then put that in your text to be sent. So we can look into that later. So what we can do here, so you can go and call your method that we've written dot with that select date from calendar. So that will be that. So then the last one that I want to do is basically we look into this one next week, which is the validation. So and I want you to look into this one also. Is just click on the submit button. So what I want everyone to do now is to let's try to run it. You run it, and then I've not done some other ones like enter the emails and everything. So which is I want everyone to do that. And make sure you finish this. So any question? I know the time is fast spent, so it's around hours. I actually wanted to do Git this evening, so but apologies, I can't do that right now. We can do that. So I think there's a tutor aligning. We want to do that so you can see. So we got some. Okay, so we got some issues basically. Let's look into what that is. Elements not instantiated. It's not interactable. So which one is that? To get the right one, so because you know you can do something you can put your breakpoint to get the one that failed, or you could just click on the source. It's going to tell you which one actually failed. So you can see line 8 actually failed, so which is that one. So it's a line 8. That's not self-explanatory because that's kind of saying the whole scenario, which is not right. So if you go to the bottom, so it's going to tell you which one failed, the red one. So you can see that shows that select radio button. So the radio button is the one that actually failed, which is like he was not able to click on the radio button, which I think that's not really, I don't expect that to fail. So let's put a breakpoint there and see what the problem is, why it's not able to click on the radio button. So so let's see, it's been able to fill all this in and select the MultiSelector, which is good, and then I'm expecting it to click on that one. So that's the one that is failing basically. So let's see what the problem is. So it said it's not interactable. So let's see what the problem is, and let's go into that object, and this is the one that is said not. So if we go into the inspect element, you can press F12, and let's say, like I said, you can use find F, and it says not able to do that one. So okay, as you can see, I think it's right, because by clicking on this, that is not selected. So the first thing that we need to do is we might need to click, hold on. Okay, we might need to click on this one instead of the input. That's what we need to click on, the add one, so not the input. Basically, that's what we need to click on. So instead of this one, because that is not interactable, so it's only the add one that is interactable basically. So or this one also is interactive with the label. So and the label has got an ID which is different, so we can replace it with that. So if you look at the label, so we can click on, let's see, that is not showing again. So okay, yeah, it's still showing, so I think it should be fine. So but that is not, it's not actually. So basically that should be the issue. So and if I change that one to the ID for the label instead of the input, and let's see if that would be fine. So let me stop this one and then run it. Any question, because I'm actually rounding up right now, so any question? So I'm just going to run this. Okay, cool. So that is that basically. So that's everything done. So if you debug it, just for us to be sure that it is actually done something. So any question? So let's go. So let's go and see. So let's go. everything basically. So that's it. So, and then the next one is for you to just click on the submit button and then try as much as possible, if you can, to validate the message that you get from there. So we're going to, so when you click on the submit, try to see if you can validate the message. That will be the assignment. So this is where we're going to stop tonight. So we're going to start from there next week. So apologies, the time is, yeah, we've kind of overshot the time, but I think it's good to, yeah, go through this. So basically this video is kind of like end to end basically. So if you really need to watch any video about how to do automation from beginning to the end, this is a video to watch, to be honest. So as you can see, we actually covered everything. The only thing that we did not actually touch right now is the assertion. So because of the time, so we're going to do the assertion next week, and then we're also looking to switching between windows and alerts, everything. So I'll try as much as possible also to see if we can actually add browse or upload button to that particular form, so that we can also be able to implement it also. So I think we kind of a bit, yeah, ahead right now on what we can do, so we can actually kind of automate most of the sites right now. So then the next one is going to be kind of advanced, improving what we can do. So as we stand right now, we've been able to do MS test. So we've been able to use MS test, and also we've been able to also use our NUnit for now. So the step, once again, you download, you integrate Specflow, you create your tests, you add NUnit package, you also create your folder structure, you create your files, feature file, step definition, page object class, you create your hook on your page object file. We did not actually use page factory, but you should, don't worry about that. So you find your elements on the page of, so we are not using page factory, so number 12 is not relevant. So we add our step definition, so don't worry about the, so to our page object. So, and we didn't use any action, so you don't need to worry about that. We run our test, and you can still continue that step on and on and until your features are done. So that's what we've been able to do today. So, and enjoy your week, and the assignment is for you to finish the automation of this particular website or this form, so that, and also validate the success message basically. So, and if you can also validate this one also when you click on that, that will be good. Yeah. Alright, thanks everyone. So, and once again, apology for the time. Is, yeah, it was really. And next week there will send a document to you on how to upload your code into GitHub. So assignments has to be uploaded to GitHub basically, and I would also send the slides to the administrator so that they can put it on the site. So you might have to hold on. So you might have to get yourself enlisted into the community if you have not done that. So get the site, the slide will be uploaded onto the community. So the slide will be uploaded in this particular community. So if you don't belong to this community, please do enlist yourself. So you're going to see, this is the previous slide that we have, so you can upload that one. So this particular slide that I've used in this particular training also will be uploaded to that particular page. So if you are not a member, you should enlist on that particular community. So I think, yeah, that's it for now. So thank you for your time. Thank you so much for this session.